UAB commissioned a comprehensive parking and transportation study conducted by a premier planning and design engineering consulting firm. Based on study results and recommendations, as well as input from UAB faculty, staff, and students, UAB developed a plan to guide the future of parking and transportation at UAB. There are a lot of enhancements planned, but one primary takeaway from the study was the need for awareness and to make sure that the expectations are in line with the design of our parking system. For instance, you will probably be surprised to hear that the study found that we actually have a slight surplus of parking. The perception that we don't have enough parking is in part a misalignment of how our parking and transportation plan was designed and parkers' expectations for parking within an easy walking distance of their building. Like traditional urban campuses, our system has been designed to utilize transportation options like Blazer Express to traverse campus. While available parking may not be in convenient walking distance of one's destination, parking is available to those who utilize the Blazer Express parking and our express parking lots. For instance, Express Parking Lot 1 has never once been full since we opened it over a year ago. So in addition to making enhancements to parking and transportation, we will also be increasing our efforts to better communicate resources and options, and we have hired someone to facilitate those efforts. Here's an aerial view of downtown Birmingham. Our campus footprint covers over 100 city blocks with dense neighborhoods to the south and west of campus. Retail, multi-unit housing, and major medical centers border us to the north and east. There's a major interstate to the west and a heavily traveled U.S. highway to the east. Dense neighborhoods border the southern edge of our campus. Here you will see some of the challenges we address within the study and plan. As you saw from the previous slide, we are landlocked with very low chance of horizontal growth, and land and construction are expensive. Building new structured parking is averaging $25,000 to $35,000 per parking space. Some things that are great for the university that provide students and employees many advantages, like increased enrollment, new state-of-the-art buildings, create challenges for parking, and we are addressing those challenges. Urban universities like UAB must be prepared to receive students who want to live here and have an active experience in higher education. We must also establish strong partnerships with the campus. This includes student organizations, faculty senate, athletics, campus police, and any other entity on campus. Here I'll show you a couple of maps. This is our existing student parking right now. The dark colored areas are student parking lots, and this lot right here is Express Lot 1 that I was referring to that has never been full since we opened it. This next slide shows our existing employee parking in the dark colored areas. And then the following slide is primarily our UAB medicine parking. A quick overview of the study itself. This is a 5-year plan that looks at parking and transportation from an enterprise-wide level. The study uses a new map-based model which considers growth and on-campus changes. Recommendations cover things like parking supply, policies, technology, pedestrian access, bicycle access, and a number of other things. As a part of the study, faculty, staff, and students' input was solicited. This is what we heard. Of the over 400 comments that we received, 54% of those received directly were related to parking, and 28 were directly related to transit, the two highest categories that we did find. And of that 54% and 28% respectively, the chart on the right shows what those pertain to. For example, of the 54% of the comments we received on parking, 21% of those were related to capacity. Of the 28% of comments we received on transit, 23% were related to efficiency and direction of our routes. As a result of the study, we developed a plan to address opportunities and needs for improvement. And some of these are listed here. Realizing that it's not just about parking cars, transportation plays a major part in how we address parking on this campus. Here you see the three main objectives we have specifically related to our on-campus transit system. One, we have to plan for our future demand. Two, again, we must strengthen partnerships and create a more fiscally sustainable transportation system. And three, we realize that we must improve our customer experience. And when I refer to customers, I'm referring to all students, employees, faculty, visitors, patients, anyone who comes to our campus. The improvements you see here are directly related to our campus master plan, as Mr. Fowler will go over in his presentation. These improvements will only enhance the positive experiences of students, faculty, and staff, and visitors to our campus. Okay, here's what most are waiting to hear. Where will we be building new parking structures? We've identified 4 potential sites for new parking decks. However, today we are not convinced that 4 new decks are truly necessary. Our first deck that we are considering, which is our highest priority right now, is the new deck on what is now lot 15D. That is the lot that is south, just south of the Abrams Ingram Institute for Visual Arts. Our second priority will be a deck here on the far east side of campus to primarily account for our medical facility. These other 2 facilities here, 1 and 2, are potential sites, but again, the study showed that if we change some of our policies and procedures, building 4 new parking decks may not be in the best interest of UAB. We can decrease that need with some strategic planning and changes that we have in place. Parking and transportation at an institution like ours is complicated. So we have to manage strategically supply and demand rather than just building new parking structures. These are some of the great new ideas that will greatly improve one's parking experience on campus. We are going to be investing in technology. We're going to be creating a transportation demand management program. This is a program that helps us decrease the number of single occupancy vehicles that come to our campus. By decreasing the number of single occupancy vehicles to our campus, that in turn decreases the number of parking facilities that we will need to build. We're also looking at creating a zone-based parking system. Right now, students who buy a parking permit, by show of hands, can I see everyone who has a parking permit? Okay, most of you have a parking permit who raise your hand simply are purchasing a license to hunt. Basically, we give you a parking permit, and that parking permit allows you to park in any number of parking lots. Well, that's not a good experience for you, and we now realize that. When that system was implemented many, many years ago, it worked well for this university. We have outgrown that. We are now moving to zone-based, where you still may have 1, 2, or 3 areas that you have to look in, but it's not looking in 30 different areas. We also will be working to coordinate class schedules with parking supply, and we are working on a plan to encourage incoming freshmen not to store vehicles on campus. Enhancements to our Blazer Express transit system and the overall management of parking and transportation is very important to us as well. Small things like rebranding our parking and transportation office to simply transportation services is going to benefit us greatly. We're also establishing new budget protocols, and we're looking at addressing our parking permit rates. Part of the solution, in addition to what you've heard already, is utilizing alternative modes of transportation. Promoting alternative modes of transportation is a win for us all. Some sustainable options are listed here. Some of these are already in place here at UAB, but our plan will address how we can increase and enhance their use and make them more convenient. What is the future of parking? New advances in technology and service must be included in our plans for UAB. We must begin using parking guiding systems. which gives in real time space occupancy across campus. Electric vehicles are steadily increasing. We're seeing more and more electric vehicles on campus. During this past year, we installed 3 electric charging stations on this campus. Over the next few months, you will see more and more electric charging stations on our campus. Transportation network companies like Uber and Lyft, they are here. We need to find a way to incorporate those services into our culture here at UAB. You may have heard about it. Autonomous vehicles are coming. Depending upon who you talk to, it could be 30 years away, it could be as little as 10 years away. We need to find out how we can incorporate that and how that is going to change the culture of parking here on our campus. Another thing that we're looking at is the reutilization of parking decks. Decks, long term, will probably not be as needed as we think. So as we design our new decks for the future, how do we design them so they can be retrofitted into an academic building or some other type of facility that are not just stuck as a parking deck forever and ever? That's the end of my presentation. I hope I did not go over my 15 minutes. Any questions, comments?
When will the zone-based parking begin?
Thank you, and I did not plant that question, ladies and gentlemen. We will phase zone-based parking in, Dr. Watts. We will have some zone-based parking in fall of 2018, and then once we get that first phase, and it's a little more complicated than you might think, but we will have some launching in fall of 18, and then we hope to have it campus-wide by fall of 19. But you will see it in fall of 18.
Safety escort, and are there plans to expand it over the next few years?
Yes, good question. We move approximately 5,500 to 6,500 people per month on safety escort. That's a great number for us. And we're doing that with simply 3 little vans. So we're moving a lot of people throughout the month. Annually. But what we need to do more of is go to areas that students and employees really want to get to. We have a large footprint now, but as our campus grows and our students' needs grow, we're going to be looking at expanding that further out. The challenge is the further out you go, the longer it takes in between calls. So we really try to keep it into a compact area right now because we don't want our students waiting any longer than they have to.
Zone-based parking be something that students can choose? And if not, how would those zones be assigned to students?
So you want to be in a prime zone, you may pay a little more than someone who's parking further out. And once that zone is full, there will not be a wait list. So we'll publicize when they go on sale. You go out there, get your zone. If you get in, if you get lucky enough, fine. If not, you may have to go to your second choice or your third choice.
If I want to go park in my lot, but it's completely full, where would I go?
There will be an overflow lot for that. We hope through our planning that does not happen. We want to guarantee that when you come to your zone, there's a space available for you in your zone. But in the event that does not work, there will be a designated overflow lot for you where you won't be at risk of being ticketed. If there are no more questions, thank you.